I'm a ghost when I walk in.
Here's the thing about me. When I'm into someone, I'm like the type of person who like believes in thinking someone is attractive and then liking someone's like completely a different thing, right? So you can think someone's attractive, meaning like you're super attractive and I want to get to know you, right? And that's completely different than, oh my god, I like you, because that's like comes with a layer of actually getting to know who the person is. So there's this person that I met freshman year, and he was in probably, I think, the first class that I had as a college student. And I immediately thought he was super cute, so my type, it's not even funny. And he also ended up being a person that I talked to a lot. After the first class, like we were walking out together, it was raining, and I had an umbrella and he didn't, and he sparked up a conversation. We started talking and it became a thing. We would walk together back towards like our dorms after class, At some point I stopped talking to him. Don't know why, because I'm an awkward person. I remember I'd see him around and he'd definitely like smile and say hi to me, and be like super nice. And then it came second semester freshman year. My luck, he ended up being in one of my discussion courses for one of our larger core classes, which is like complete crazy luck. I don't know how he ended up being in my discussion class. And he was super nice. He like knew that I liked Harry Potter, so on my birthday he came over and he was like, oh, I have something that you'd like. And he shows me this super cool photo on his like phone of like Swagrid, and it made me so happy because it was like, oh my god, you actually like remember the fact that I'm like really into Harry Potter, because I think he saw the sticker on my computer at one point and he's like, oh, it says, I was like, oh, it says Hagrid the Half-Giant has a posse, and I got that at like the Harry Potter Yule Ball that they have in New York City, #nerd right here. And so he like remembered that small tidbit of information, and it was just so sweet of him. And then he ended up getting a girlfriend sophomore year when I like just stopped talking to him. Every time I'd see him, he'd like walk by, I'd walk by, and we wouldn't say anything. And then I remember one time like I turned around, he had turned around too, and he had this huge smile plastered on his face. And I had this huge smile plastered on my face. So I feel like we were just like at least good friends, right? And then it comes to senior year, and my friend, she got set up on a date, and I was like, well, at this point he'd broken up with his girlfriend. I was like, well, if you go on the date, I'll ask this person to hang out, or like go get coffee, or go get dinner. I didn't really think she was gonna do the date thing. Lo and behold, she does the date. I was like, excuse me, shoot. Now I have to talk to this kid. So I'm like dying, because this is like 4 years, right, later, and I haven't talked to him or seen him really since like sophomore year or end of freshman year, okay? I message him on Facebook because we're Facebook friends, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? I know it's been forever, but I would love it if you want to catch up. Would you like to like grab dinner or coffee or something? And I'm like freaking out. My friend had to press the send button because I couldn't send it and I was avoiding it. And basically she sends it, and then literally he responds like really quickly. It's like, yeah, hey, yeah, I would love that. Let's meet up, da, da, da. We set up a time. We end up going to a Thai restaurant too, next to his school. And I'm nervous as heck. You have to understand that I get really, really socially anxious in general, even if it isn't about boys, and about boys skyrockets. I was freaking out about this for days. Irrational thoughts going through my head, and my friends are like, why are there irrational thoughts? I'm like, is this a date? Are we just hanging out? Da, da, da. I get like kind of dressed up, like not too dressed up because you don't want to be too dressed up. It was kind of daylight. We go get dinner at this Thai place where he walks up, he hugs me, which I didn't expect because we haven't seen each other in so long. And we're talking and we're walking to class, and he like, I was avoiding eye contact, but every time I would look over, he'd be looking at me the whole time we were walking. I'm like, oh, but I was so mesmerized by his beauty. Lols. And I was like, this is awesome. We're walking, we're talking, our conversation is flowing, we're at dinner, we both ordered the same thing. And I'm like eating, I eat really fast. He's like, oh my god, I eat really fast too. My parents always comment on it. I'm like, oh my god, I always comment on me eating too fast too. And conversation is great. We finish eating. We literally stay for like an hour afterwards. We're still talking. We talk about family, talk about like TV, all this stuff, right? Conversation is flowing. I'm thinking this is going great. Da, da, da. And I'm like, oh, eventually I'm like, okay, hey, you wanna leave? And so we like, the check comes and I'm like, hey, I'll pay for it. I like asked, I invited you out. Like, let me pay for it. Like, no, no, no. He's like, I would say, I'll pay for it and do the guy thing, but I have a feeling like you're not into that type of thing. And I'm like, yeah, don't do that. It's not a good deal for me. And I was like, okay, whatever. We finish paying, we walk out, we're talking, the conversation's good. I mentioned to him that he should come to senior ball, which is happening. And he didn't know about it. I was like, you must come, you need to get tickets. We're talking about we get towards his dorm room like area. He's like, I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, oh, thanks for inviting me out. I wouldn't have come out otherwise because, you know, haha, I'm antisocial is something we talked about during dinner. And how he's like not super social. And I'm like, oh, I'm not super social either, you know, in my head. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And he like hugs me and we're done hugging. And now I'm walking back to my dorm, like elated because I'm like, oh, it went well. Fast forward. He doesn't even contact me, never got my number, he doesn't say anything afterwards, da da. And I messaged him back, I was like, oh hey, it was awesome having dinner and catching up, like, and I was being quirky and I was like, hey, if you're ever feeling a little less antisocial, hit me up, right? I thought that was clever, I don't know. And he's like, yeah, of course, thanks for inviting me out, da. And that's it. I'm like, dang, like he's not into me, like what's going on, da da, I can't read this kid. We go to senior ball, he's there, and he like, I think he brought a date, it was someone else. Obviously I was a little like, heh, talks, you know, a little saddened by it, I ain't gonna lie. But he like looked at me a lot of the night, so I'm like, I don't even understand, because we're friends, like, you can't just stare at me and not talk to me, you know what I mean? And then at that night, I was just like full of it. So I like messaged him and I was like, hey, saw you at ball, didn't get a chance to say hi, hope you had a great ball. So I was like, I was the one who told you about ball, I should like at least say I saw you, right? And didn't say hi. He's like, he's like, it's graduation week, right? So he doesn't message me back for like a week. And I'm like freaking out, like he hasn't messaged me back, like what is wrong? And it's fine, like he ends up messaging me back. He's like, hey, I'm sorry I didn't message you back, I was super busy. This kid is just like so nice, like it just doesn't make sense to me. Like he's so, no, it makes sense that he's really nice, but it just doesn't make sense to me because for him he's like, are you into me, are you not into me? I don't know what's going on here, you're just like super nice, blah blah blah. And he doesn't, he's like, oh yeah, I had an awesome time at ball, hope you had an awesome time at graduation, blah blah blah. And I remember at dinner we were talking about the fact that he might stay in the city. Fast forward, I go on through the summer, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I never responded to the last message he sent because there was really nothing to say. And I get back and I'm working with someone who's like really close with his group of friends and him. They're all like a close group of friends. This kid has a party like after we get back from job training because I'm working with this kid. And I go to this kid's house and lo and behold, who's there? And I was just like, oh my god. And you know, I'm an avoider. Normal situation, I would run across the street because my friends know I had avoided him on campus several different times. It's the point where some friends are very angry about how much the lengths I would go to avoid this kid. And so I get to the party and like shoot, so I'm behind him, so I walk by really fast with my friend and we're like, okay, we're just gonna go hang out. There's like an upper level and a lower deck level, right? So we hang out at the upper level, we're talking to these guys. He ends up being in literally my line of view, and to the point where I can't even not say hi, because if he sees me and he knows I didn't say hi, it'll be awkward. So I look down because he's in the lower deck, lower area, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, oh my proceeds to make his way up to where I am with my friend, greets me with a great big hug, and then like I introduce him to my friend. He's like super nice, talks to her, and he's like, oh hey, yeah, it's like, what are you doing in the city? I remember you were doing this, da da da, I forgot. Pulls me into this like full-on conversation, and I'm like, oh, okay. We had this long conversation. I was about to leave this party, and I didn't for another hour plus because we were talking. And my thing is like, why are you gonna talk to me if you're not into me? Like, why would you make an extra effort to talk to me? Like, if you're not into me, like, I don't get it. So we talked for a long time, and he ends up having to leave, and he doesn't ask for my number or anything. So I'm just like, I don't get it. And I'm still at that point where I don't get it. That's like where it has ended, you know? I'm just like, are you into me? Are you not into me? Part of me is like, yes you are, because you keep making effort to talk to me for a long period of time, but then like, why won't you like ask me for my number or ask me to like hang out again? But now I'm just working on getting over him, because if he is into me, like, he should hit me up. If he isn't, I need to be moving on. My thing is, I've been kind of into this kid for like 4 years, and or like semi-intrigued by him for 4 years. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you want to see next, especially if you want to see a shoe collection, because literally I realized how many shoes I have and it's a problem. Or if you want to see a room tour, because that's a thing. It's not very like decorated or anything, but it's a room. You can see it. Eventually there will be an apartment tour when we have that done.
This is real.